All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So we've got a couple interesting charts to look at here. It's finger, the one that you're seeing here, and then CEI right behind it. Okay, both are looking really interesting. You know, I've been covering finger for a bit, and man, this thing is just knocking on the door of a really big move. Right? We'll talk about it shortly, but man, just a lot of really good things could happen if we can get over that line, right? So that's essentially what we're looking for here. With CEI, look, I'll be honest, there are some oil news things that are actually a little above my head. I saw something about a natural gas line approved and stuff like that. Again, I don't really follow current news and things like that too much, but there's some things happening in oil in general, and hey, I think CEI looks like it's taking advantage of that, and it has a really interesting chart as well with that. Okay, and then look, I haven't looked at MULN in a bit, and unfortunately MULN no longer seems to be banking on that 20 breaking, right? It now just actually seems like we're going lower and lower below those lines, which is definitely a little scary. Okay, so before we go any further though, what are we going to do today? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to the channel, share this video on the internet, comment good or bad. Look, I'm telling you, anything you can do really does help me out, especially if you can share it. I'm really not the best at sharing, and my socials aren't that big, in all honesty. So much appreciated for sure. So look, let's get into finger, all right? And there's definitely a lot to like here, and truth be told, there's actually more to like than to get worried about, okay? First and foremost, look, the 8 and the 20 are still going up. All right, we actually just golden crossed the 50 on the 200 as well, right? That actually looks like it's still going up as well. Again, the 50 is going to go half as fast as the 20, and what? 4 times slower than the 8, right? So again, this is going up. It's just not as drastic, obviously, but yeah, slow and steady. And hey, even that 100's going up, which is a really nice thing, right? So it's been a good while that the 8 and the 20 were going down, right? So the fact that we're actually holding it is great. And one more time to note, this was a little harder of a pump, and I like this more than this, in all honesty, right? Like, slow and steady is a beautiful thing. Slow and steady allows you to reset and keep going, right? So the point though is this knows how to run when it gets over the 8 and the 20, and man, that's what I'm hoping for, because again, it actually did it right here. Let's not even take credit. Like, this is a sub $2 stock that goes all the way up to $6.50. That's huge, right? So it knows how to move when the 8 and the 20 are its friend, and instead of losing it right here, it actually maintains and is going, right? So look, that's a good MACD. It went down. It's now starting to curve up. Never goes below the negative line, right? That's a good RSI. This thing was pushing 93. Day after 91. Day before that was another 91, right? So it goes from the 90s to a wildly healthy 47. And in all honesty, it actually goes up while it goes from that 90 something, which was right here, to the 40. Like, that's actually a little crazy in my book, right? Like, MACD isn't, I mean, I guess this is kind of going a little more up than this is, so hey, maybe it's kind of following the MACD a bit, but yeah, just interesting, right? And the one thing I want to talk about is volume, all right? This 50 average line not that long ago was down here at less than 200K. We are now averaging almost 900K shares. Like, we have literally more than 4x'd in less than a full 2 months, right? Like, June 12th was 1 month. I would say, you know, in about 10 days, we'll get that second month, but we have 4x that, and I love it. And there are way more big green candle days than red ones, right? So more people are buying, and more importantly, they're buying and they're holding. So I like this right here, right? I'm telling you, 651's that number, all right? If we can get over that, look at what it is, okay? I'm just zooming out a bit. Let's take it to this. 651 is this plateau right here. It's this little plateau right here. and it's this little plateau right here, and you can actually say it's a little bit of the peak. Like, I think this is going to be a really hard line. I actually really do. But if we can go from this to this, all I'm seeing is pop up, pop down, pop up, pop down, pop up, pop down, pop up, pop up, pop down. Like, this to this should be a really easy channel, and then break this and we're talking about all-time highs, right? So still a lot more to like on finger than not like. And again, what seemingly is happening is everything is resetting for what could be a good run. All right, where are we on the weekly? Look, we're over all 5 moving averages on the weekly. We've just golden crossed the 8 to the 20. I mean, there's 8 to the 200. MACD is definitely still very much diverging and going up. RSI is not even at a very scary 80. Man, there's a lot. Oh, Jesus, it's been this high on the weekly before too. It's even been this high on the weekly before too. It's been in the 80s. We're still at 7. Yeah. I think if you're a little patient here, there's a lot to like. And you know what? Let me just zoom out real quick. Okay. This was obviously a bigger volume moment than this, but look how much more sustainable this has been. Crazy pop, crazy drop. Instead, we basically get 2, 4, 6 out of 8 days are green, and relatively consistent across those 8, right? Like, I like these last 2 months. I really, really do. And I think there's a beautiful story said right here and again on the daily, right? I like this chart a lot. It is well worth keeping this in the back of your pocket, all right? All right, let's take a look at CEI. Okay, let me just say a few things that I started the video off with, okay? Look, there are some political things that are happening with oil that I am not here to pretend I know or understand or am an expert on, right? Okay, I heard something about a natural gas pipeline. That's really big, all right? Because just anything to do with that sector should help a stock like this, all right? And hey, there's actually been a pretty decent move. This thing's actually made a really quick 50% in not a long time. Obviously, there was a big pump, big drop, big pump, big drop. But hey, during all of that, we've held the moving averages way better than I think I would have anticipated. I'll say that much, right? Holding the 20 is super important. Getting back over this 3 right here, the 20, the 50, and the 8, that's big right there. And hey, look, it wasn't that long ago that we just touched 100. All right, if we can do that again, that'd be great. And let's be honest, look at this right here. This is a really hard plateau. This is obviously what stopped this day right here. I mean, you can argue it stopped the wick right here. Where is this 100? 114. That's still a decent 10% right there. What are you at? 107. Okay, I think it's arguable. What was your 103? I think 103 would be an easy place to enter, because ideally you take this from 103 to 113, assuming that 100 comes down tomorrow just a little bit, right? That's a good little 10% swing. More importantly, that's a red that might take you up to 173 if this 100 breaks, all right? The market's being a little interesting right now. When I say interesting, I mean not the best that it was at least the last like few months, right? But that said, I think the oil story might be enough to kind of counterbalance that. And look, I don't see a beautiful W yet, and hey, it might actually turn into an M for murder. And you know, I'm not. Let me not talk patterns. I don't do patterns. That's not my like forte at all, right? So. I will say though, breaking this is the money line, right? If you're patient enough, hell, you can even argue that that's still a little too far. 140? No, I wouldn't want to wait for that. I wouldn't. And then do I gotta raise this line? I don't think so. I think it's worth keeping. I just don't know if it's worth adding this line right here, especially because, like I said, the 100's right there, right? Because there's a little baby plateau there, and there's obviously a little something right here, right? They do kind of like marry right there. That might be an interesting line. That one, I'm going to draw that 135 because it's basically the bottom of this, the bottom of this. I think it's worth having it. Let's just put it there. But again, I do. Moral of the story is the moving averages. That's a beautiful gap between the 100 and the 200, and the way this works is break the 8, go to the 20, break the 20, go to the 50, break the 50, go to the 100, break the 100, go to the 200, right? And Break the 8, go to the 20. Break the 20, go to the 50. Break the 50, go to the 100. We just haven't been able to break the 100 just yet, right? So that's the big picture. But what am I seeing down here? Fantastic. I'm seeing divergence over the positive line. Look, this is still super tight, so hopefully tomorrow gives us a little bit better. But yeah, I see a little bit of green on top of red and a very, 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 very healthy 54. And that's a good 3 days of volume, followed by a bounce right there. What are you doing after hours? You running? Oh, you running. You running. Because again, sorry, that's post. We're at 10% after hours. Like a 3% doesn't sound like a lot, but you're actually adding 50% to today's gain, right? So interesting. Were we at that 102 line already? Nah, not quite yet, but this is a must watch tomorrow, I think. All right, for sure. I like CEI. We didn't look at the weekly yet, right? No, but look at this weekly. Oh man, look at this weekly. This weekly is basically saying, look, if you can break the 20, I want to come up to the 50, right? We just talked about how this thing works, right? And you can barely see it, but there's 100 right up there, right? And that's way, do not have $24 dreams on this stock. That is a very important thing, all right? But hey, maybe $4 dreams could be realistic if you're patient, because again, that's a big gap. And in all honesty, it is pretty much red all the way down, especially looking on the weekly, right? Like this is a plateau, right? Maybe there's like a line in between these two, basically right here, like $2 probably captures the weekly line really well. And then 160 captures the weekly line if you want two single lines, right? Instead of my 4 broken out right here. But there's a lot to like. And one more time, just on the daily at least, break the 100, and this thing is saying a little close to 3. The weekly's throwing out maybe a 4. This is an interesting one right here. Hey, if you have any details about that oil stuff, can you let me know, please? I would actually very, very much appreciate it, all right? All right, MULN. Let's talk about MULN, all right? And look, you know I am not here to bash on any single stock, all right? I really do my best to be as unbiased and as impartial as I can and let these lines speak the story, right? Dude, what looked like an attempt at the 20 just for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks is now actually looking like a really scary loss of the lines. This right here is a death cross, all right? What you want is the little one to cross above a big one and keep going up. When it crosses below, that's not good. All right, obviously the word death in a 2-word phrase isn't a good thing, right? But what's happening to MULN, it's what's been happening to MULN. We're starting to be unable to get over the 8. That's really what I'm seeing, especially as of this day, as of July 20th. Now we're just kind of getting close and then drop, right? Like and look, this 8 line is going down. This is not trying to curve flat. This is not trying to go up. This is not even trying to stay parallel. It seems like this 8 wants to keep going down, and that's a kind of a scary curve down, right? Like the 20 arguably was actually going up a little bit, right? Insignificantly, but hey, I'll at least call it out. That's a pretty drastic down, and this doesn't look like much of a candle, but you know, there's not a lot of green candles left between where we're sitting and here, right? Like this is a red, green, red, like it going from 12 to 10 is a 20% loss. Every penny is roughly 10 cents, right? 1.2. So, you know, I know no one wants to talk about pennies here, but it's a scary thing. It is, you know what I mean? So, and again, I'm not here pretending this stock's going to do a reverse split. I have absolutely no crystal ball that's saying that, but how can you not fear the fact that the last time this 1 to 25 split literally happened right here, right? So like, I know in the back of my mind it's there. I have to believe in the back of your mind it's there, right? So my biggest fear would be losing this 10 cent. You lose 10 cent, it will go quickly to 8. You lose 8, it will go quickly to 6, all right? And 12 to 6 is a 50% loss, right? So just look, I know it seems like a wild, wild thing to believe that some car manufacturer is sitting at 12 cents, all right? Market don't care, all right? Just like I have no influence on like these are computer generated lines, right? Like I did nothing to make it move from here the day before to here, right? Like the only things I kind of have control over, not even kind of, the only things I have control over are these white lines, right? So when you can't get over the 8 and the 20, when you do it for this long, literally for this long, right? Like history repeats itself. It does, especially in the stock market. If it didn't, technical analysis would be BS, right? So look, I am not here to spread fear. Please let me know your thoughts. Otherwise, yeah, this is really all I got here. Thank you. Thank you.